And so she then, I guess it's later that evening, and her and Christian are having dinner, and Christian's talking about like meetings and shit and the business and Jack Hyde, and he's like, I can't believe fucking Jack Hyde got out on a $500,000 bail. I mean, Jesus Christ, now I'm fucking privileged, but that's insane. And she goes, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, he's so upset. He's like, bah, bah. Hello, and thank you for checking out the video. I just want to let you know that I not only create content on my YouTube channel, Class in the Glass, but I'm also on Twitch, where I review movies, cartoons, and TV shows live, while also playing single-player games and multiplayer games. I also have a Patreon, where subscribers have access to hundreds of video and audio commentaries for films and cartoons, as well as podcasts and videocasts. In the meantime, thank you again for watching, and enjoy the video. But, chat, now we got to concentrate on the content for today. That I can do. That I can promise you within this time frame, chat. And I am indeed reviewing 50 Shades Freed, the 2018 erotic romantic drama film. At least that's what it says on Wikipedia, chat. It's not that erotic, honestly. It's like, okay, it's tame, honestly, some of the stuff that I've seen. But, chat, before I go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details of this third and last chapter, thank God, of the 50 Shades trilogy, I need to ask you a very important question. How many of you have seen 50 Shades Freed? Cristando, good to see you. Hope you're doing very well. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just about to get in their movie and just ask people if they've seen 50 Shades Freed. I want to punch Christian Grey. That's fair. That's fair. No, he deserves a good punch. He deserved a good slap to the face. Knock some fucking sense into him. Nope, never. And you don't need to. I'll tell you that right now. Hamilton Burger, I have not. Look, the boss, in all fairness, you've seen some dark shit. I have seen some dark shit, true. I've seen all of these horrible movies, I'm sorry to say, says Emily. This movie will make you not want to eat ice cream. Oh, my God, yes. But I have a craving. You know what? I don't want any of that ice cream. No, thank you. A lot of ice cream, though. Vanilla. Settle for a vanilla relationship. None of these films I've seen, nor do I care to. Laughing my ass off, says Michael Collector. Pleasure to have you here, good sir. Evil dies tonight. I haven't fell asleep. Yeah, this one's fucking boring. I have never seen these shades. I'm a shut-in nerd, and I even have better things to do. Goddamn right you do, man. So Ray says, nope, never, and happy about it. I've seen only the first one. Will never watch the others. Is the erotic Sonic fanfic section of these? Yeah, well, they're more interesting. They're surprising, I would say. This is just fucking tame. I mean, I've been exposed to some just horrible shit. I'm like, oh my God, just such depravity, chat. Such kinky, sexual content. And this just feels kind of like, all right, really? It almost feels like this is written by someone who, I've already said this, who kind of who's never had sex. I don't know what E.L. James's life has been. I don't want to assume, but I feel like this person just has a warped version of what BDSM is and what a healthy sexual relationship is. I get that sense. Ben and Jerry's got paid money. Ben and Jerry's, I forget, man, they probably got, because their fucking logo is everywhere. It's in 50 Shades Darker, and it's here again. Ben & Jerry's, man. That's the fucking ice cream of the 50 Shades series. You bet your ass. I mean, Ben & Jerry's is good. I gotta admit you. That's some quality ice cream. I could write a sexy movie about a person into BDSM isn't weird. True. Absolutely. I don't know that it was number one at the box office for 1 week before Black Panther. Was that what happened? Oh, no. I mean, all these movies did well commercially. Although I will say, this is the lowest grossing film in the franchise. It's made about $372 million. And a budget, and they all had like a budget of $55 million. I think the last one made like 400, and I think the first one made 500 something. So they were all made less than their previous entry. I think that was just because of dwindling interest and people realizing these films are just shitty. And for myself, again, I have seen this film recently. I watched this yesterday. I watched 50 Shades Darker on Sunday, and so very fresh in my mind, chat. And at least I will say this: 50 Shades Darker it's a bad movie. I just hate the way it displays this relationship. I hate the way it showcases BDSM culture and sexual kinks and things, because it's just wrong how they're showing them. It's a misunderstanding of them. And really, it's just these movies are just about a really just abusive, manipulative behavior. especially coming from, the male figure in the relationship. And, it's bad for that. But I will say, at least 50 Shades Darker, it just had these ridiculous scenes that were so over the top and funny. Like, the movie opens up in the first 10 minutes, like, Christian Grey's going, "I was a crack baby." And I'm like, you can't help but laugh at that. I'm sorry, but it's hilarious. That's funny. Fucking, they have another character named Mr. Hyde who is like, "Oh, Chad, did you know he was going to be the villain or one of several villains?" I mean, that's hilarious too. The whole reveal that Christian Grey, his fetish, the reason why he does what he does, well, he's a sadist, but he also only sleeps and abuses women that looks like his mother. He likes to fuck women that look like his mother. I'm like, this is great. This is wonderful material. And then the ending with fucking Mr. Hyde going, "I shall get revenge upon you, brother," which is like, oh my God, he's his brother. Okay. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see how they're gonna pull that off, and they don't. It's like the whole thing with Jack Hyde being the brother of Christian Grey, it's wrapped up in a conversation in the last 5 minutes of the movie. And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. It's just lazily written. Sorry, Chad, like, this is a really boring movie. This doesn't have a lot going on. Like, I have my notes, and so much of this, like, there's a couple of funny scenes and some surprise appearances of some other actors. It's just a movie filled with pretty rich white people with their pretty rich friends doing things around the world, just vacationing. And yeah, it's pretty to look at, France and, the fucking French Riviera and the Mediterranean. It's like, all right, this is pretty, but, these unlikable characters are within these scenes themselves, and it's just boring. There's so little. And then when they do the sex stuff, it's just kind of, this feels like the most tame. I feel like maybe Anastasia, her character, hug me, brother. Brother. I get this. I feel like she's showing more skin in this movie than she ever did in the other ones. I felt she showed very little in the first one. The second one, I thought there was a lot more. And here she's topless a lot, and she's naked a lot, I want to say. Like, they refuse to show Christian Grey's penis, like, at all. Which is weird to me, because so many of the people that, they're probably going to this film, the demographic is, I would imagine, a lot of women. And I don't know why they just don't show it. It's just odd to me. Like, you see her butt, you see her boobs all the time, and he's naked, but you only see, everything is shot from the waist up with him. Or if it is like a wide shot, it's blocked in such a way where you never see the shaft or the balls, chat. But you do see a lot of his butt. And that's about it. It's wealth porn. Wow, it's a great way to put it in English. This is wealth porn. And it's not as interesting as that sounds. It's not. It's just boring. It's just boring rich people doing boring rich things. They're actually, the stuff they're doing is pretty cool, but it's just like, but I want to do it. I want to watch someone do it because that makes me feel bad. It's a waste. You would have thought that, like, okay, well, now you have to. I should have known ahead of time. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to wrap up all these crazy fucking twists and turns the last movie took. But I was hoping they would, and they had nothing. They had absolutely nothing, Chad. It's kind of just a slog of a film. And it goes nowhere. They do try to make certain scenes in the last film make sense. Like, there's a whole helicopter scene in the original, or in the second one, where the fucking Christian Grey's helicopter crashed, and everyone didn't know if he was dead or alive. They're looking for bodies, and yet he appeared in the fucking house like a half hour later. They explain what happened with that. So I was like, oh, okay. It's not really interesting. Matter of fact, it's more confusing because it just shows what this one character apparently is capable of that we're not giving any inkling of initially. So it's like, all right, whatever. But it's a bad movie. It's boring. Like, at least 50 Shades Darker had some crazy twists and turns. This one is just, all right, let's just get this over with. All right, please just stop. Oh, Chad, I feel like the audience and everyone else involved felt that way too. Because, again, it made a lot of money. Made a little under $400 million, but still. people's interests had waned by this point. They're like, there's a lot of better kinky material out there to enjoy, such as Only Juicy fans, chat. Go ahead and check that. 101 videos up there. Probably hours upon hours of Sonic, Shrek, Steve Buscemi, Jar Jar, and Winnie the Pooh eroticism. All of your sexual fantasies will be fulfilled. In the house like LL Cool J, good to see you. At Zach Standard 50 Shades of Grey. Well, this does kind of have his blue-gray aesthetic, which he loves to feature throughout his films. So, yeah, a little bit of that in there, definitely. Crazy Dancing Help! Oh, my God. My brother. Join me, brother. I would have loved that if they had that sort of work. God damn it. Lost opportunity, chap. Lost opportunity. Lisa Hardhands. Good to see you, Lisa. Pleasure to have you here. But now, Chad, we got to go ahead and get to 50 Shades Free. This is going to be a short review, Chad, because nothing happened in this film. We start, it's the opening, and Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele, as you know, they were engaged in the last film after he proposed to her after a night of dreaming about his crack whore mom, and then she gave him a fucking USB drive that said yes on it, and then he proposed to her in the pool / greenhouse that they have at their compound, and she said yes again, and that happened. And now I guess it's several weeks later, and it's the wedding, and it's a really lazy opening where it's just her putting on a fucking dress and him all just touching her butt. But then, Christian Grey, he's doing his vows, and he's like, Anna, I just want to tell you, I will care for you in sickness and in health, and I will always be lusting after you. And she's like, me too. And then the priest is like, Jesus, all right. Does anyone object to this union? And I would have been like, I object. Fuck both of these people, and fuck all of you for allowing this to happen. I'm out. I would have left you. I would have told him what's what. But the priest or minister, or I don't know what this guy is, they couldn't get a priest. Not for this weird family. He's like, all right, you're married and shit. The groom may kiss the bride. They smooch, and everyone's like, yay, everyone's having a great time. And they start dancing, and it's just the credit sequence. Everyone's dancing, and then Christian Grey's adopted parents, they start dancing. And then Anna's friend, Kate, she's dancing with Elliot. Oh, my God, the plot with Elliot is so dumb. You think Elliot's cheating on Kate. It's not true, Chad. It's not true. I'm telling you what. Makes you with 100 Bass and Herman reenacting the vows of the dead stairs. Very accurate. It's true. That's what it was. It's like, oh, God. They're both. I just get the sense that these two actors, like, don't like each other, and there's like, all right, we're just saying these things, but there's no emotion put into any of their words. It just dribbles. That's the only way I can personify it, chat. It just dribbles out of their mouth and just goes down until the next scene. That's what it is. Thank you. We got a new Huckleberry, got a new following here, chat. Woo-wee! That guy can't smile. Neither can Christian Grey. That's true. That guy, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing very well. Currently, you're in the beginning of fucking 50 Shades Free, wedding, dancing, no one cares. Sage Snake, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So they're dancing things, and Kate's dancing with Elliot, but Kate seems a little peeved, Chad. And Elliot doesn't understand why. We'll find out in a bit. It doesn't matter. Eventually, Christian gets bored hanging out with all of his rich friends, or rich family members, and he's like, I need to take you on a trip. Let's get out of here. And he's like, okay. And so then she gets out of her wedding dress like immediately, and she dresses in this kind of like, skirt, shows off her butt, and they walk down, and then she has the flowers, and she throws the flowers. This is funny. This is really funny scene where she throws the flowers at someone, and it's Elliot who catches them, and Elliot, who of course is dating Kate, goes, and he throws them away. And the look on Kate's face is like, oh, and she's so sad. And then I think it's Christian Grey and Elliot's sister, Mia, who I'm like, oh, yeah. She had a scene in the last movie, I guess. She catches him. She's like, oh, my God, I got the flowers, yeah. And so she's happy about that. Eventually, Christian then takes Anna to his private plane, and fucking Anna still, who is like a deer stuck in the goddamn headlights constantly. She's like a doe. That's how I would describe her, Chad. She's like a doe, where she's like, oh my God, is this your plane? Like, of course it's his fucking plane. He's rich. You are marrying this man. Do you not understand his wealth? It doesn't matter. And he's like, Yeah, Anna, it's my plane. I literally told you in the last film I bought a fucking airline when I was in Arizona or something. Oh, LL Cool J. I think in the hundreds, love to have a celebrity guest in here. I wonder if Don Judge has seen any of these films. Probably. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. No, Anna, I still. That would be cool if it was a criminal. It was all a facade. That would have been an awesome twist. But they get on the plane. And they drink champagne, and they have meals that would cost us $200 fucking chat, but they can eat that shit every day because they're rich. And then they go to Paris, and this is just a montage. All it is, chat, is it's just them. This is like 15 minutes of the movie is they go to Paris and they are spending times at all these bistros and they're going to all the touristy areas and they're going to museums, and then you occasionally cut to their to the hotel where they're fucking each other, but it's not like ooh really sexy. All you see really is Christian Grey's ass and him thrusting into her, but it's like a wide shots from far away and you go that's all you hear. It's boring. It's super boring. Eventually, apparently, they're vacationing for weeks because, again, they can afford to do so. And after they went to France, they went to Italy, and then they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and go to fucking Brazil. And they went to Brazil, and then after they got bored of Brazil, they're like, let's go back to France, but I want to go to the southern part of France. They went to the French Riviera, and they're on this fucking yacht. Actually, they're on the beach, but the yacht's parked out in the bay. And then they do this whole thing, which just annoys me, where they're literally sitting right next to, like, they're literally, actually, no, she's like, they're on these two lounge chairs, right? He's sitting back, and she's sitting forward with her tuchus, like, positioned up, and he occasionally slaps the cheeks, chat, because, you know, he loves to spank. And then what they're doing, this feels like a Gen Z thing, where they're texting each other, even though they are literally 2 feet from each other. They're just like, you can just talk to the person. You can literally just go, hey, but no, they're texting each other back and forth, and it's so annoying. And where they have like the text pop up on the screen, and she's like, OMG, I didn't get any sleep last night. And then he texts back, and you're not gonna get any sleep tonight either, winky face, eggplant emoji. She's like, ooh. And then she does a winky face. This is what the movie's devolved into. Winky face, and then I think she texts like a bikini, like a bra or whatever. And it's like, all right, I get it. Boobs chat. Also, she gets a text from, that's the other thing too. Because she looks over and we see Taylor, the bodyguard, apparently has been with them the entire time. And he just looks so sad because he hasn't seen his family in like weeks or like months. And she's like, it's kind of sad that Taylor has to be with us the entire time. Well, he's a part of our security detail, Anna. He's like, yeah, but, shouldn't we like invite him to dinner one time? He's like, no, he's the help. And it's like, okay. And you just see fucking poor Taylor just trying to order a coffee. And he's like, oh, that poor guy. After that chat, we cut from Sad Taylor, and we're back in Seattle, I guess, where this unknown individual has entered the Christian Grey skyscraper or whatever, the place where he does all his business. This person comes in there, and he's like, can I have my security pass? I have a meeting today. And they're like, sure. And they give this guy a security card, chat, and he uses apparently the security card, which allows you to go anywhere on the premises. Usually that security card will only allow you to get into certain places. That's kind of the point. But apparently in the Christian Grey Enterprises, you just ask for a security card. They'll let you the security in this movie is awful. Across the board. Whether I'm like, Tyler should be, the thing is though, Tyler, what the fuck his name is? I think it's Taylor. He needs to be fucking fired. He's just bad at it. He's not good at it, and his team is even worse. So this guy gets a security card, and he's able to open up this utility closet, and what he then does, which I guess he does it himself, but he then uses his phone to then copy the security card and hacks into it. And now his phone is capable of hacking into anything else in the building. So he then also, this unknown individual then changes into a janitor's outfit. And he goes to the server room where he downloads a shit ton of information. Chad, ooh, who could this be? You'll find out in a bit. Eventually, we cut back, and Anna is like, could you, like, put some lotion or some suntan lotion on my back? And he's like, of course I can, Anna. And she's like, great. And she's like, I'm going to take my top off. He goes, no, don't take your top off. Okay, I don't want to share you with anyone. She's like, but like everyone has their top off here. He's like, no, Anna. She's like, okay. And so he fucking puts the suntan lotion on her and everything. He slaps her butt again because that's what he likes to do. And he's like, I will go swimming. You will join me, won't you? She's like, I'm a little tired. I'm going to go take a nap. And he's like, fine. And he goes swimming. And then, what does Anna fucking do, chat? She takes off her top, chat, and the bazoongas are on full display, chat. They're on full fucking display. And then eventually he comes back from swimming, and he's like, because she's like sleeping like this, and the bazoonga, but it's a nude beach. Apparently it's a nude beach. And he comes back from swimming, and he's like, Anna, what are you doing? And she's like, what? It's fine. It's like, there's boobs as far as the eye can see. It's like, and this is a line from the movie, chat. She says it's like boobs in boob land. He's like, but I don't want to share your boobs in boob land. They're my boobs. She's like, no, Christian, they're my boobs. And he throws a towel on her. And she's like, what's your problem? He's like, I don't need some paparazzi gawking at your body. I'm the one who's gonna gawk you. I'm like, okay. Let's go back to the boat. And then we get a montage of them on a jet ski, and they get back to his incredible fucking looking yacht. And he gets on there, and he knows how to braid her hair, chat. He knows how to, acting! He knows how to braid her hair. She's like, why do you like to braid my hair? He's like, I was taught to braid women's hair when my mother was a crack whore. She's like, oh, Jesus. And he's like, all right, do you remember your safe word? And she's like, purple. And he's like, ugh. She's like, no, it's red. Okay. And then they just have regular sex. It's like nothing kinky about it. They literally just have regular missionary sex. Okay. Oh shit, after the sex scene, they get a call. Christian Grey picks up the phone after all the snuggles, and they get a call. And apparently someone has hacked into the Christian Grey Enterprises mainframe, and they might have stolen some material. Oh, I forgot to mention, when the guy who's may or may not be Jack Hyde walks out, boom, like half the building explodes. So this guy's committing terrorist acts, chat, now. I didn't know he could do that, but apparently he can. He has that skill set, which we were not aware of. And no one, thank God, no one was hurt. Like, oh no, that massive explosion, but no one was hurt. Thank you. And he's like, well, did the hacker get away with anything? And they're like, some personal files on you, sir, but none of your banking information. That may have been what they were looking after, but just personal families on you and your family, and I guess some phone records. Like, all right, well, keep me updated. And the security person's like, apologies, Mrs. Gray. And she's like, it's okay, it's okay. Hacking, like, happens in movies all the time. And he's like, it's true. And then he's like, all right, we got to get out of here. We got to leave Boobland and go back to Seattle, all right? And so as they're traveling back at this point, Christian then starts theorizing that, oh, shit, Anna, this hacker might have also been responsible for my helicopter crash in the last movie. Remember that really random scene that was like 5 minutes long we kind of forgot about? She goes, yeah, oh my God, I forgot too. She goes, yeah, they looked at the wreckage and they're saying it was sabotage. Someone hacked my helicopter. She's like, oh, this hacker needs to be stopped. You think it's Jack Hyde? Maybe, but we've dealt with him. He shouldn't be coming back anytime soon. Yeah, you're right. I think so. They then get back home to his apartment, and now he has an entire team of people that are supposed to just take care of Anna. And there's this new woman. I don't know what she is. She's like the head maid, and she's supposed to do all the cooking, all the cleaning, like organize everything. But her whole thing is like, Anna's like, but I'm just kind of used to cooking for myself and stuff. I'm not really used to this. So, I mean, I just, and she's like, well, can we make you some food for you and Mr. Gray today? She's like, I would just kind of like to cook for both of us. I think that'd be cool if that's all right. She's like, Mrs. Gray. She's like, oh my God, what? She's like, listen. This is your home. This is your kitchen. That is your fridge of your fucking food. You don't need to tell me. You don't need to ask permission. Okay, you can do whatever you want. I understand. I'm just used to working for a lot of rich white folks. Okay, but you do what you want to do. She's like, cool. And so then this is the movie, and she just goes and she makes some steaks. And they do look good, I will say. And then Christian's like, what happened to my entire team I bought for you? And she's like, oh, I sent him home early because, I just want to cook. And he's like, fine. And she's like, I made the steak the way you want it, medium rare. And I would have just like rare, but that's just me. And she puts it on there, and they start eating the steaks and everything. He's like, you know what? This is pretty good steak. It's pretty good steak. It's like, I'm just not used to seeing you this way. She goes like, what? Just, in my home, walking around my kitchen. And she goes, what? You don't expect me to be barefoot and pregnant anytime soon? He's like, oh, I wish you wouldn't say that. And she's like, what? What's wrong? And he's like, Listen, I have plans for us right now, okay? I have plans for us right now, and children are not in the mix. Christian, do you have a problem with me getting pregnant and having children? And he's like, kids are kind of lame and stuff, and I want to do kinky sex stuff with you, and if you're preggo, then it's like, it'll make it hard. She's like, well, maybe we should have talked about this before we got married. You don't want to have kids? It's like, no, I don't know. Do you think I would be a good father right now as a 25-year-old man who's going on 45? Do you think I would make a good father? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, exactly. I need time, Anna. I need time to learn how to be a human. They really should have discussed. You got to discuss that way before marriage. That's a necessary conversation. Agreed, Caspe. But again, they rushed into this. She just liked the dick. You know what? She was all about that dick. And all about that, a BDSM, that light BDSM stuff, and she just had horny brain, and she walked into this and going like, oh shit, I should have asked him if he wanted kids. Yeah, like any fucking normal couple would. And he's really insecure about her getting, he doesn't want her to get pregnant, he doesn't want no preggo tummies anywhere, Chad. He's like, no, I don't want that. And he literally says, I don't want to share you. I don't want to share you with anyone, even a child. Your boobs are mine. And she's like, okay, all right. Eventually it's the next day, and Anna goes to work again. She is a publisher now. She got the job because Mr. Hyde was the publisher, and apparently he's a hacker terrorist at this point. She goes back. Everyone's like, oh, Mrs. Gray, it's so good to have you back. And she's like, why? What's going on? Well, it's like, you're the head of the publishing division now. She's like, I thought I was just filling in. And they're like, no, apparently you did such a good job talking about how you should sell books to 18 to 24-year-olds. You saved the company. Woo-wee. And so they gave you the job. She's like, oh my God, this is great. And he's like, yes. And that author you wanted to talk to from the Daily Planet, he's here about his new book. And fucking Clark Kent walks through the goddamn Superman walks in the door. Tyler Hoechlin from Superman and Lois Shed and all the CW superhero shows, he walks in. He's in the movie for 2 minutes. He looks great. And I was like, oh, it's Superman. He sits down. He's talking, I have this great book. It's this, biography about Superman. And she's like, our readers love Superman. He's like, hell yeah, they do. Hell yeah, they do. She's like, you have such intimate knowledge about this character, this individual. How do you get to know him? He's like, me and Soups, we just know each other. We're in each other's heads, man. We're on the same fucking wavelength. Christian Grey, no one is sucking on those milkers except me. It's true. He was sucking. There's some teat sucking later on in this movie, Chad. I promise you, but it's not coming up for a while. It's going to be a hot minute. Oh, not Henry Cavill. No, Tyler Hoechlin from Superman Lois. He's in there, and he's just talking about the book that he's it's being published. Apparently, they got a ton of orders already. Looks like it's going to be a huge hit. The reviews are great. But then, for whatever reason, Christian clearly has he has audio equipment or video equipment that is constantly watching Anna and her place of work, because he immediately walks in the office and is like, who is this? And she's like, oh, hi, honey. This is Clark Kent. He's publishing his new book about Superman. And Superman's like, oh, this guy's he's a villain. Fucking Superman should have taken out Christian Grey in this scene. Just laser eye him and just, he wouldn't even know. Anna wouldn't even know. But he's like, oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Grey. My name is Clark. And he's like, oh, yeah, nice to meet you too. Listen, I need to discuss something with my wife right now. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'll just go get a coffee. He even has the fucking glasses on like Clark Kent. And he walks out. And she's like, Christian, why are you so upset? He's like, why didn't you tell me you were going back to work? I thought you were going to stay at my home and live with me forever. And she's like, but I still want to like work and have a job and stuff. And he's like, oh, fine, whatever. But listen, I just bought a mansion from Scooby-Doo. You want to go see it? And she's like, what? And so she leaves, and Clark Kent is just like, all right, I guess I'll see you guys later. And we don't. But they drive all the way out into the country of, Washington. And he literally has bought a evil as fuck looking Scooby-Doo mansion, chat. Like they pass through this. I'm like, oh, is this going to be a bit of horror film now? It makes sense at this point. Now it's going to be his real home where he keeps all the skins of his past subs. But they literally go through this iron gate. And it's this dilapidated mansion, chat. And they ride up there and they meet with the architect named Gia, chat. And Gia, she's got a lust for Christian Grey, because she's like, oh my God, Christian, it's so good to see you. Hi, I know this is Mrs. Grey. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Gia, the architect. I'm helping him with the renovations of your new Scooby-Doo mansion, which you bought from Mr. Jenkins. And they're like, well, let's fucking go inside. And she's grabbing him and touching his shoulders. And fucking Anna's like, don't be touching my man. They go in there, and again, she's being super fucking flirty and everything, and she lays down these, like, whole plans. She says, listen, we're going to tear down this stupid, yucky Scooby-Doo mansion, okay? And we're going to, like, completely modernize it, all right? We're going to have all these, like, self-cleaning windows. We're going to have fucking droids from Star Wars. You're going to have, like, blue milk everywhere. It's going to be great! And Anna's like, I kind of just like the old Scooby-Doo aesthetic. I would like to keep that. She's like, I'm going to keep the Scooby-Doo aesthetic. Well, I mean, it's not very eco-friendly. And Christian gets like a call on his phone. He's like, oh, you know what, ladies, why don't you go ahead and discuss this? I have a call from the office. Anna, go ahead and tell her your ideas. And he leaves. And I will say, Anna, she's like, listen, I just want to let you know, I want you to stop touching and flirting with my husband. Okay? And she's like, Anna, listen, it's not what you think. And she's like, first of all, don't call me Anna. Only my friends call me Anna. You call me Mrs. Grey. All right? And here's how it's going to be. Either you stop doing this and you do what I fucking tell you to do, you dirty poor. Or you can get back in your shit-stained color car and take your ass back to Seattle. And she's like, whoa. Anna just changes, chat. She changes, chat. There's hormones involved. What's going on? You'll find out. And then Christian Grey comes back. He's like, hey, you girls having fun? And fucking Gia's just like, oh. She's like, yes, of course. And then after that, she's like, well, I spoke with your wife, and it's just, we're just gonna have to redo these things, which just give me 2 weeks. I'll have something much nicer for you, much better. And he's like, okay, cool, no problem at all. And so she gets in her shit-stained car and she drives away. And Christian already knew what was going on because he's an asshole. And he's like, oh, shit, I know my wife could be so scary. She's like, I'm just protecting my man. And he's like, all right, let's get back home. I want to go play in my playroom, like Xbox and stuff. Yes, Xbox. I have a hankering to play some Halo Infinite. Thank you, those are the 2 minutes. I see the S&M scene between Anna and this chick, but I guess that is not happening. That character, she comes back briefly, but nothing interesting comes of it. Something could be interesting, interesting might happen, but they don't do it. So it's boring. But she wants to drive now, apparently. I want to drive the car because I'm hormonal. And he's like, okay. And so she gets in the car and they start driving, and it's this fast fucking, I don't know, whatever car. I don't know cars. It's a fast car. And they're driving and they're on the highway. And then all of a sudden, Christian Grey, who has the eyes of a fucking hawk, spots someone following them in an SUV, chat. Someone SUV. And he's like, Anna, he's like, what? We're going to have a car chase scene right now. It's completely random, but it's what we need to do. And she's like, oh, Jesus. And he's like, fucking floor it. Pedal to the metal. Pedal to the metal, baby. She's like, oh, my God. And she fucking takes off down the highway, Chad. She's cutting off cars and shit. And it's like, this is kind of random. And eventually, the SUV, it loses them, Chad. And she parks in a parking garage, parks in a parking lot, and she's like, oh my God, that was crazy. Why do you think that person was following us? I don't know. It must be related to Mr. Hyde. She goes, yeah. Do you want to fuck in the car? And he's like, yeah. And then she literally just gets on top of him, and he comes like in like 5 seconds. It's like 1, 2, 3, done. He's a 3-pump chump, and that's about it. She's like, that's like the best sex I ever had. It's like, I don't think it was, but okay. After that, they then go back home, and Christian puts in a request. I need all the information on Jack Hyde, because I guess they don't have that. And the security team's like, we're fucking on it, sir. Definitely. And then like him and Anna are like being all handsy and like cuddling and stuff, and she's like, your hair is so scruffy, and he's like, I gotta go to the barber. He's like, or I gotta go to the salon. He's like, no, I'm gonna cut your hair. I'm gonna cut your hair. She's like, and he's like, you know how to cut hair? He's like, yeah, I used to cut my dad's hair all the time. And he's like, you're gonna give me a dad haircut? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a daddy haircut. And so then she's like washing him in the tub, chat, and she's washing his hair, and then he takes his hands and he touches her boobs like that, and so her boobs get all wet. She's like, no, my boobs are wet. And he goes, yeah, I know. He's like, you're gonna cut my hair now? She goes, yeah, where are your scissors? And he's like, they're in my office. And so she goes into the office, chat, and she finds the scissors, but she also finds Gollum Girl's gun. Remember Gollum Girl? Please, master, who was sent upstate? Sure. He finds the gun, chat. She finds the gun. And eventually she comes back, and she goes, Christian, what is this? Why is this gun in here? And he's like, I mean, I kept the gun because I didn't want Gollum Girl to get in trouble with the law. And she's like, what did you do to her? What happened to her? And she's like, she's in a medical facility, and her family's watching after her right now. So you gotta tell me about like random guns, Christian. Jesus. And he's like, okay, fuck, I'm sorry. You want to cut my hair? She goes, yeah, and she cuts his hair. After that, we're back at the office, and Clark Kent's book is selling like fucking hotcakes, chat. Oh, this rookie reporter from the Daily Planet, he's fucking killing it on his biography about Superman. How does he get his sources? We'll never know. But then Anna gets a little text message from Kate, and she's like, OMG, girl, it has been so long since we last just like hung out and whatever. Let's go get drinks. Let's get martinis, appletinis. And she's like, but Christian doesn't like me having friends. He doesn't want me to go. Oh, it's the thing with Jack Hyde, because the whole thing with Jack Hyde, and then also with that random SUV. Oh, they also find the footage of the SUV chasing them, and it's not Jack Hyde. It looks like a woman. Remember that, Jay? It's like a woman, but she's wearing sunglasses, and she's wearing a baseball cap. And when you wear sunglasses and a baseball cap, no one knows the fuck you look like. And the car's plates were stolen, chat. They were fucking stolen. And it's like, oh, okay, that's a little weird. But then, so that's why Christian's like being very protective, and he doesn't want her going out there or having any friends, because he doesn't know someone is going to betray us, Anna. But she gets this, text message from Kate, who wants to get fucking drunk and have appletinis, and she's like, oh, I really want to do that. And she also has like a bodyguard now. I forget his name. Snyder? I don't know his name. He's fucking very pretty. And Hannah, who should have been fired by the time Anna came on board, is like, so who's the bodyguard? He's protecting me from my former employer, Jack Hyde. Oh, you mean the one who was like sexually assaulting all the secretaries, and I knew about it the entire time? She goes, yeah, that one. She goes, yeah, okay, you be careful, girl. And so she is then decided Despite the security guard telling her, like, listen, I think we should just go home because we don't know, like, who might be involved in this conspiracy to ruin your lives, your perfect rich lives. She's like, I don't care. I want to go get an apple tea to my friend. And so then she goes to this, restaurant, and she sits down with Kate. Oh, and Kate's having drama in her life, chat. Kate, she's just so unsure about Elliot. He's like busy all the time now, and he's spending time with that architect, Gia. And fucking Anna's like, oh no, Gia, she's a gold digger. She's trying to get her fucking harpy claws into one of these gray boys, chat, and get all the money. But, Anna doesn't tell her that because she's a shitty fucking friend. She goes like, oh, I'm sure it's nothing. And in hindsight, she's actually right. But Kate's like, I just love Elliot so much. I just want to have all of his pretty rich white babies. And she's like, don't worry, girl, you'll have that. And she's like, let's have another apple teeny. And she's like, I only want one apple teeny. She's like, no, we got to have another one. And so they fucking down apple teenies. And then she leaves. She then leaves, and the security guard drives her back home. And they get inside the fucking penthouse and shit. And the security guard, he like just walks away because he's gonna check on something. And then, fucking Anastasia, she's a little fucking drunk. She had like 2 apple teenies. And then all of a sudden, Jack Hyde appears. She's like, remember me? When I tried to rape you. And she's like, oh my God, Jesus. And he like grabs her chin. He grabs her. He has a fucking butcher knife. He's like, yes, Hannah. Yes, I've come for you. I've come for you and my brother's life. And he's like, what are you talking about? How do you get in here? And he's like, I hacked the planet, Anna. I hacked the planet. And the security guard comes back like, you guys are bad at your jobs. And he's like, fucking put her down, dude. He's like, shoot me. I'll slit her fucking throat before you can do anything. And then there's another security guard who apparently was already there on the premises, who comes up behind him and puts her gun against his head. She's like, fucking get on the floor now, or I'll put one right in your cranium. He's like, okay, don't hurt me. And I'm like, what is happening? The worst, and they get even worse. Emily. But he's on the ground. And he's arrested. Eventually, the police are called there, and the police just say, yeah, I guess he hacked in. That's all they say. He hacked in. How is he doing all this? How? I guess the pass from Christian Grey's business, and he changed it, and now it's used for I don't know. It doesn't matter. He hacked in. Police are there, and they're asking questions about this. And he's like, first of all, why wasn't there a police report filed on this sexual assault against you? And she's like, oh, my husband said he would take care of it. And he's like, okay. Does this mean anything to you? Because it was found on Jack Hyde's, within his jacket. It was a piece of paper. And it says, you owe me a life, brother. She's like, I have no idea what that means at all. After that, the police leave and are like, well, you must be tired. We'll continue to investigate, but don't worry. Jack Hyde is going to jail. There is no possibility of him escaping. I mean, he literally entered your apartment, hacked into it, committed a fucking terrorist attack and blew up half a building, and he almost killed you. I mean, it would be pretty fucking ridiculous if he got out on bail, right? Right? Yeah. So Christian comes home, and he's super fucking upset. He's super, super upset with Anna about this whole thing. And he's like, I got to go take a shower. Anna tries to join him for that shower, but he's like, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me. And even though Anna's all naked, her bazungas are showing and her booty butt showing, no Christian Grey pee at all. He's like, I don't like to be touched right now, Anna. It's the last thing I need. We then go fucking back to work, and Anna's upset because her marriage is really not great, and she's in a very toxic relationship. But then remember the HR lady, Chad, from the last movie? He was also really bad at her job. She still works at that company, and she speaks to Anna about like, oh, we heard about Jack Hyde. We just can't believe it. Everything that he's done. Not only was he a rapist and a sexual assaulter, but also a fucking hacker and a terrorist. Who would have thought? You'd think like human resources would look into that guy's background and figure it out. Anyway, Anna, I'm going to go on lunch break. She's like, okay, you're doing a great job, buddy. And so then she goes back home. She goes back home, and Christian's horny. He's really horny, and he's like, I want to go play in my playroom. She's like, Xbox? He goes, not exactly. And so they go inside there, and he has this fucking iron cast bed frame, but it's like propped up, like it's vertically up. And he's like, I want to put you on that and fuck you. And she's like, hot. And so he ties her up there. He puts some bondage material on her wrists, and he puts some stuff on her ankles, chat, and he puts a mask on her so she can't see. And so then he just starts, he starts kissing, and then he takes her brassiere off, chat, and he starts sucking on them teats. He's going for the milk, chat. He's going for the milk. And then he gets like one of those Hitachis, which you put it right up there, you put it in the vagine area, and he turns that fucking on. He's like, oh, and then he's like, do you like that? Do you like it? She's like, yes. Oh my God, I'm gonna come. He's like, are you now? And he turns it off. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I was like about to come and stuff. And he's like, now you know how I feel when I'm not in control. And she's like, what are you doing? And then they have an argument. And he unties her and everything. And he's like, well, she's like, why did you do this? He's just like, I was so scared about what happened, okay? I mean, I have no idea what Hyde was doing, and it just scares me. I mean, I had this horrible dream last night after we didn't have, like, cool shower hugging, and I just pictured you, and it gets really fucking weird. I just pictured you on the cement, and your body was completely just fucking wrecked, and you were bleeding out of every orifice, your eyeballs, in your ears, in your butthole. And I'm like, I like that butthole. I don't want the butthole to like bleed and stuff. And she's like, Christian, I promise you my butthole will not bleed unless you use one of those toys in your Xbox room. And she goes like, okay, I'm sorry that I, teased you like that. Let's fuck. And then they fuck. And it's like, this relationship ain't gonna last, chat. I don't think this is going very well. And then to make up for being just a real fucking creep to Anna and talking about her bleeding butthole, he's like, hey, remember when she bought those tickets in the last movie to Aspen? Let's do it. Let's go to Aspen, even though it's not really, winter. So they go up to Aspen, chat. And again, it's just another montage. It's another montage of rich white people doing rich white people things. And it's like, okay, cool. And throughout all this, it's hiking and eating great food and fucking partying and like bathtub sex, all that good stuff. Here's the reveal. Here's the big reveal, because Kate is also there with Elliot and some other members of the family, like Mia's there too. Their sister, Christian Grey and Elliot's sister. And Kate is talking to, what's her name? Fucking Anna. And she's like, Elliot's been so weird on this trip. He just seems so nervous and distant. And I just think it's that Gia. I just think she's like cheating on him. I think she's fucking him behind my back. And Anna's like, oh no. But then like later in after one of the many montages of them doing shit, Darcy, can we get Eli Rapp torture them hostile style? The fucking Christian Grey might like that. He's a sadist after all. But then later in one of the evenings that they're spending time together, Elliot, like, they're at a bar, they're like at a fancy restaurant getting some fucking like hibachi. I think it's like a hibachi grill place, which is like, ooh, I always love those. Are pretty cool. And he stands up. He's like, hey guys, I just wanted to take this moment and just say how much I love Kate. She's amazing. I've been so lucky. Who would have thought, like, oh, those 6 weeks ago. I'm like, oh my God, it's been 6 weeks since the events of the original movie. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, these people should not be getting married. Those 6 weeks ago, those 6 weeks were amazing. And I just wanted to say that I have asked Kate to marry me. And Gia, thank God for Gia, the amazing architect who's currently working for Christian and Anna building their dream Scooby-Doo mansion. She helped me pick out this beautiful ring for Kate. And Kate's like, yeah, look at my big ring. Isn't it awesome? Or it's like left hand. And everyone's like, yeah. And so the whole thing with Kate being like, ooh, Kate's going to get her own story. And Elliot's actually an asshole, or Gia's a gold digger. No, Gia was just helping Elliot pick out a ring for Kate. That's the big reveal. That's it. I'm telling you, chat. Nothing interesting happens in this movie. So after that, after they do some shit, Anna wakes up. She's like, my tummy's hungry. I need ice cream. She's got some craving. She's craving some of that vanilla ice cream, chat. She goes downstairs. She just starts she starts eating ice cream. And then Christian comes downstairs and he's like, you eating some ice cream? She goes, yeah, you want some? He's like, yeah. And she just dumps some ice cream like on her boobs. And he's like, he's just eating all the boob ice cream, chap. It's fucking boob land, okay? And it's covered in ice cream. And he has all that stuff. And then she puts some ice cream on his chest. And he's like, go. And then she licks it off his chest. It's like, all right, hot. What we got? Oh, yeah, so we then cut to, people are hiking, and everyone's happy at this point. No, Anna's tummy's like, my tummy feels weird. All this walking, I hate it. And then eventually they go back and, Oh yeah, they get some more info on Hyde, and apparently Jack Hyde was in the foster care system. He never knew what his real parents were, I guess, and he was in the foster care system, and he was bounced around a lot. Apparently he got in trouble for fighting and for, like, hurting girls and things. And Anna's like, well, but why us? But why us specifically? Why does he keep coming after you, Christian? He has a vendetta. And he's like, I just don't know, Anna. I have no idea why. And it's like, all right. Safe word, boobland, bleeding butthole, appletini. Those would be great fucking safe words. Bleeding asshole would be like, okay, shit, we got to stop. I like appletini. That's a fun one. Thank you for the biddies. And then they have sex again. They have sex. It's a sex montage again in Aspen, chat. But again, it's not really like kinky sex. It's just regular sex. And then we get to the moment of the movie where I'm like, okay, it's been dumb, but remember that whole thing I told you about with Jack Hyde? It's like, okay, this guy is a serial sexual assaulter, a rapist. He is a hacker, a master hacker, and he's attempted to broke into someone's premises, attempted to murder someone, and has carried out terrorist actions, right? Well, apparently, chat, white privilege exists because he has appealed his sentencing, and he is being allowed out on bail. Like, they literally have a courtroom scene where Anna hears about this, and she goes to the courtroom and to hear about all this, and the lawyer says, despite my client was not in his right mind when he committed these terrorist actions and hacked into things and blew up a fucking building and attempted to kill Miss Anastasia Steele. He was just upset because of the loss of his job caused by one Christian Grey. And the judge literally says, that is so stupid. But I appreciate the boldness. I will allow it. And she's like, okay, but $500,000 bail. And she's like, Your Honor. She's like, there you go, boom. And he gets out on $500,000 bail, chat. Because I guess he just has that pocket money. He's like, cool. You gotta be kidding me. And I was like, what? What? Hey, chat. Hey, if you're rich and white, you're gonna be all right. That's how it works, apparently. And then Anna, she's like, oh, my tummy hurts. Because she's all, she's all like feeling so sick because of the fucking court case. And she goes and she vomits in the toilet and stuff. And she's like, oh, my tummy, something's weird in my tum-tum, and I haven't like my period in a long time. And so then she goes to the doctor, she goes to a doctor, and this lady's like, yeah, you're preggo. She's like, I'm preggo? She's like, yeah, you're like super preggo, like 6 weeks preggo. And so that's the reveal, chat. Like, it was the first time they had sex is when she got pregnant. That's what it was. It's like, boom, fucking fertile as hell. She's like, oh my God, I have a preggo belly. And so she then, I guess it's later that evening, and her and Christian are having dinner, and Christian's talking about like meetings and shit and the business and Jack Hyde. And he's like, I can't believe fucking Jack Hyde got out on a $500,000 bail. I mean, Jesus Christ, now I'm fucking privileged, but that's insane. And she goes, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, he's so upset. He's like, fuck. Fuck. He is so mad when he hears that. And she's like, Christian, this is what happens. This is what happens. He's like, what do you mean? She's like, sex makes babies. You could get pregnant. He's like, I know, but I didn't know. I didn't know it would happen so soon. She's like, we've been and she even says, Christian, we like been fucking a lot. Like the first time we met, we fucked. And he's like, yeah, that's a good point. He complains. She's like, I'm 6 weeks pregnant. And he's like, Anna, I just had so many things planned for us now. A child was not in the works so soon. And she's like, okay, but we're going to be like parents now, and we got to be like responsible and take responsibility for our little baby, okay? And he's like, oh, God, I'm going to go. I just want to go and get drunk. She goes, wait a minute, we got to talk about this. And he just leaves. He just leaves. And it's like, oh, my God, this relationship. Why didn't they have this conversation beforehand? And so she leaves, and she's like, oh, he's rubbing her tummy now. She's like, oh, baby, I'm sorry that your dad's an asshole. Eventually, he comes back home, and he is fucking hammered, Chad. He throw the baby in the trash. That's what I think he even alluded to. Maybe you could just, I don't know, get an abortion. And she's like, oh, she was very opposed to that. Very opposed to that. But he comes back home, and we get to see, I forget this actor's name who plays Christian Grey. Jamie Dornan. Not great at playing drunk, but he pretends to be drunk, chat, and it's really awkward where, his fucking pants are all the way, like, down to his knees. He's like, hey, Prego, how you doing, girl? He's like, oh, my God, you're drunk, Christian. Let's get you to bed. And so she gets in the bed. He's like, I want to suckle on them nips before the kid gets them. And she's like, oh, my God, stop. And she's undressing him and everything, chat. Eventually, he just passes the fuck out because he's so hammered. He's been drinking a lot of hard liquor that night, chat. He walks in with a bottle in his hand. It's like, okay. But then she sees his phone. She sees his phone, chat, and holy shit. You know who he's been talking to or went to go see, chat? Kim Basinger, Elena, from the last movie, the one who fucked him who raped him when he was a teenager, chat. She was his dom when he was 14 years old, and he was in a relationship with her until he was 20. And he went to go see her, chat, and they did kinky BDSM sex. And she's like, oh, my God, because it's Elena. And she's like, I just wanted to say it was so good seeing you tonight, Christian. It was amazing. Despite my Botox erupting from every orifice, I'm so glad to see you again. And she is just so disgusted by this. She just can't believe it. She can't believe it. And she wants to just be away from Christian, but she wants to be with him at the same time, chat. And it's like weird. She's so confused, and she's pregnant, and I just want all the ice cream. So she goes to the fridge, and she just takes all the Ben & Jerry's, chat, and all the chocolate and stuff. She's got the cravings. This is what happens. And then she takes the Xbox room key, the sex dungeon key, and then she waddles into the sex dungeon, locks it, and just starts eating all the chocolate and ice cream until she passes the fuck out. Christian then comes to later in the morning, has no idea where Anna is. He's like knocking on all the doors and shit. It's like, and I guess she has the only key. It's like maybe she's in the sex dungeon eating ice cream and chocolate. He does not think that. Calls in his entire security team, and he's like, we gotta fucking find Anna. And then she waddles out of the pickles too. True. Very true. Some about the crunch and the sweetness and the sourness and all that. And just, it gets the pregnant lady. They love it. But she waddles out, and he's there. He's like, Hannah, where were you? And she's like, you guys can all go home, okay? All right. I'm having an argument with my husband, and I'm pregnant. And they're like, all right, congratulations. And they leave. And again, she's like, okay, we got to fucking talk about what happened. He's like, talk about what? You're like, you cheated on me with the person who raped you when you were 14 years old and kept raping you until you were 20. And he's like, okay, yeah. He's like, why did you do that? And he's like, I was angry, Anna. I didn't know how to feel human emotions, okay? She's like, well, we got to talk to each other, okay? This happens to a lot of people. There's unexpected pregnancies, but we got to handle it like an adult. And he's like, He's like, you got to fucking grow up, Christian, okay? Stop being that 14-year-old boy that was dominated by a Botox-injected Kim Basinger, okay? You got to grow up. And he's like, he's very mad. And she's like, again, Christian, I don't know if you know this, but sex, there must be a ton of little baby Christian Greys out there. But she's like, sex makes babies, Christian. I'm going to work. And so she goes to work. She gets herself cleaned up. She gets all the ice cream and chocolate off of her face, and she gets in a shower, and she goes to work. And she's doing her thing, you know, fucking reading the Superman biography, selling very well. And then she gets a call from, or a text messages from Kate, and she's like, "Girl, I heard what happened. OMG, I am so sorry you're having relationship issues. Ellie and I like talked like way beforehand about kids." And like he's totally down for kids. I'm totally down for kids too. But we like talked about, did you guys not talk about it? And she goes, "No." And she goes, "You gotta talk about that beforehand." She's like, "I know." And she's like, "Okay, later, so we'll get appletini." Actually, no, probably we shouldn't get appletini since you're all preggo now. We'll talk later, bye. And so she's like, "Okay, cool." But then she gets a fucking call chat from Mia, the sister. Mia, she's in the movie again. Christian and Elliot's sister. And she gets a call from Mia, and she's like, "Oh no, I bet Christian is trying to talk to me, and Mia's gonna try to talk to me." It's like, "Oh, I love Mia, but okay." She answers the phone, she's like, "Hello?" And he's like, "Hello, Anna. So good to hear your voice." She's like, "Oh, Mr. Hyde, it's you." He's like, "Yes." He's like, how did you get Mia's phone?" "Oh, don't you worry about that. What did you do to Mia? She's a little indisposed right now, a little preoccupied." And literally he's down at the docks in Seattle, and where Mia is like tied up on a chair with like ropes and has like duct tape over her mouth going and all that. And it's like, "You owe me, Anna, you and Christian Grey, my brother. You owe me both." And he's like, "Oh my God, what do you want? What do you want?" "I deserved what he had, what he got. I could have been a better Christian Grey, Anna. I could have fucked you better than he could have ever fucked you." She's like, "Jesus Christ, what do you want?" He's like, "I want $5 million in cash." Okay, and she's in cash. He goes, or he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay, I can get that to you, I guess, sometime soon." He's like, "No, I want it in an hour." And she's like, "You can't fucking take $5 million in cash out of a bank. That it doesn't work that way." And he's like, "You're rich and white, you can get away with it." She's like, "True. Okay." He's like, "Don't tell your security guard about this, because I will know. Tell no one, because I will know," which, again, we don't know how he knows. We don't know that. And he's like, "Once you go to the bank, my associate will be there, and you will deliver the cash to me, and Mia will be free." And she's like, "Okay, cool." And so she leaves without telling the security guard where. She just starts running out of the office, and the security guard's like, Mrs. Gray," and she just runs out. She fucking had his keys. She has her own keys. She yeets herself into her car, and she drives back. I think she drives like back home. She drives back home because she needs Christian Gray's account. She doesn't have any of his bank information because she's got to steal the money from him. And so she goes back home. She steals all the banking information, his check and things, his checkbook and stuff. And then she runs out. And the security guard, again, awful at their job. Like, he gets there as soon as she's leaving. He's like, "Oh no!" But he follows her apparently because they got like a tracker embedded in her butt or something. I don't know. It's embedded in her butt. So she then goes to the bank, and the bank's like, "Well, Mrs. Gray, I understand that you want this $5 million. It's like, "Yes, I want $5 million in cash, like right now." It's like, "Well, this kind of process would take a long time, actually. I mean, we're going to need a lot of information." She goes, "Listen, I am rich, I am white, and I'm pregnant. I want all the ice cream, okay? So fucking do this." And he's like, "All right." And so he just takes, I need a check though. She's like, "Okay." So she writes the check out, $5 million and everything. And he leaves, and she's like eating chocolate. He then comes back, and he's like, "Mrs. Gray, I have your husband, Christian Grey, on the phone." She's like, "Oh, Jesus." And she takes the phone. She's like, "Hello?" And he's like, "Listen, Anna, I heard about you trying to get $5 million out of my account. I mean, like, whatever, it's $5 million. I mean, that's like poor money, right? But are you like leaving me? Are you leaving me and absconding with the thing inside your belly?" And she's like, "Christian, I just can't tell you what's going on right now. Someone's in danger." And she hangs up, and Christian Gray's like, guys, I need to get over to the bank right now. Turn on the tracker in my wife's butt." And they're like, "Right away, sir." And they turn the tracker on, and they get to the bank. Eventually, the guy comes back, and he's like, "All right, here's the $5 million in cash." Boom, puts it in there. And she's like, "Great." And he sees the security guy, that has been doing an awful job the entire time in this movie, walking up. She's like, listen, I need to use your secure. Oh, she also gets a call from Mr. Hyde that says, fucking use the emergency exit outside the bank. The driver will be there. My associate will be there. In the house, LL Cool J. LL Cool J, hat like a shark's fin. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm using your Prime subscription on my channel. You only get one of those a month. In fact, use it on me. That's very kind of you, sir. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the review. We're almost fucking done. And they're like, okay, yeah, you can use the emergency exit and shit. So she goes out, and there's an SUV parked out there. And the driver gets out of the car, and the driver, chat, the associate of Mr. Hyde, is the HR lady from the fucking publishing division that Anna works for. The one who's really bad at her job. It's like, oh, that's why. Of course, she's been in league with Jack Hyde this entire time. And she's like, HR lady, how can you betray me? She's like, listen, I've allowed fucking Mr. Hyde to get away with so many rapes. So many rapes and terrorist acts for years while working at the publishing firm. Of course, I am also evil. And she's like, okay. And she's like, give me your phone. And she takes the phone, but chat. See, Anna, she was slick because she knew that she would have to like drop the phone or whatever, and so she took the bank manager's phone instead, and so they dropped it. So she has like everyone like has it on speaker, so everyone's hearing everything, recording all this evidence and stuff. So it's like, oh, cool. And of course, Christian, his team. With Tyler, what the fuck his name is, they're tracking Anna via her fucking the probe that's in her butt. And so like, all right, they're following the car and stuff. Eventually the SUV of Anna, it parks where Mr. Hyde, who is just looking grosser the more we see him, Chad, like he literally is turning into Mr. Hyde. Like his fucking eyes are like really dark circles. He has acne all over his face. He hasn't shaven. He's just gross looking. It's like, what the fuck happened to you, dude? And then Anna walks out. And she has somebody, she's like, Mr. Hyde, for Jack, I have the money, let Mia go. She's like, oh, don't worry. I'll let Mia go once I'm done with her. I'll ship all that's left, all the pieces back to Christian once I'm done. But you, Anna, you are what I truly desire. And he like grabs her and just starts slapping the shit out of her. Forehand and backhand chat and stuff. And the HR lady's like, whoa, you said you wouldn't kill her or anything, man. He's like, I'm not gonna kill her. I'm just going to beat her until she's almost at the brink of death itself. And he kicks her in the belly. Oh no, it's the baby. The baby lives in the belly, chat. It's like, oh, my baby. And she falls down, but you forget, Chad, because what happened to that gun? What happened to that gun that Anna found early in the movie that once belonged to Gollum Girl? Well, apparently, Chad, she has kept it on her person the entire time because Anna can defend herself. And she's like, Jack, just let Mia go, please, and don't kick me in my belly anymore. There's so much ice cream and baby in there. And he's like, I don't care. I will kill Mia. Now she's like, no. And she pulls out the gun that she was hiding, chat, and goes bang, and she fucking shoots Jack Hyde in the dick. And he's like, my dick! He fucking falls down. He's like, you won't be doing no more raping, Mr. Hyde. And then right as his dick exploded, chat, via the molten hot lead that entered it, fucking Christian Grey rolls up with his entire entourage, gets out of the car, doesn't give a fuck about his sister. Jack in the Box, he got jacked in the box, no doubt about it. And the entire security team arrests HR lady, who's like, I didn't mean to do this, I'm sorry. You don't understand human resources, it's hard. And they arrest her, and they carry fucking Jack, and they leave his dick. I mean, his dick is fucking gone, chat. But they put him back in the car, and I don't know what they do with him then. And then Anna, she fucking blacks out. And then apparently she's in the hospital for like 3 days and stuff. And, Christian's like, you must care for her and the baby. She is pregnant with a baby. I'm like, yeah, we know, dude. We got it. And then Anna hasn't woken up for 3 fucking days. Doesn't open up for 3 days. And he's talking, Mom, Christian Grey's adoptive mother is there. And he's like, Mom, I really fucked up, I think. She's like, what do you mean? What'd you do? And he's like, I just haven't been a really good husband to Anna. And I was really kind of acting like a jerk when I found out she was pregnant. And she's like, well, marriage problems and stuff. Listen, she loves you, I guess. And I'm sure everything will work out because you're rich and white. And he goes, true, I am rich and white. She goes, yeah, there you go. She's like, yeah, I think everything will work out. And she's like, Anna starts stirring at the bed. And then Christian goes over and she's like, Anna, oh my God, Anna, are you okay? And she's like, Jack Hyde, is Mia okay? Mia's totally fine. I kind of forgot about her in that scene because I didn't really care because she's barely a character in these movies. But I'm so happy that you're awake. And she's like, oh my God, like, what was all that stuff with Jack Hyde? And then we get the fucking reveal, chat, about what happened. He's like, oh, yeah, Jack Hyde. So the reason why he always called me brother is because apparently I lived with him for years with a foster family. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah. The thing is, though, I don't remember anything of my foster family or my foster brother, Jack Hyde. Like, I just don't, it's like blank, right? And I guess he remembers me. And, the Greys, they adopted me because they thought, like, I look kind of cool, right? And so they didn't adopt him, which created years and years of resentment. And that's why he hated me so much. That's it. That's it. Jack Hyde was a foster brother to Christian Grey. And then Jack Hyde has been hateful and resentful of Christian Grey for years and the Grey family for years and wants to destroy them. And he learned how to become a master hacker, an editor, a publicist, and a terrorist within like 15 years. And it's like, wow. She's like, that's really stupid. And he's like, yeah, it is really stupid. And he's like, but I want to be there for you, Anna. She's like, I just don't know how to feel about you, okay? I just don't know how to feel. But also, what happened with my editor? Why did she like work with him too? And he's like, oh, yeah. So we did some research, and apparently Jack was raping and sexual assaulting all the people that worked for the publisher that you work for now. And he filmed all of them. And he also filmed having sex with the human resources person. And he was blackmailing her with that video because she would have lost her job, and also exposed her for being a really shitty human resources manager. And so that's the reason why she was doing what she was doing, working with Jack Hyde. And she's like, oh, okay, that's still pretty stupid. And he goes, yeah, I know. Anyway, will you ever forgive me? She's like, I gotta think about it. And she thinks about it for like a day. And then he's like alone in his apartment, and he's all sad and like, oh. Then she waddles in, and she's like, I forgive you, Christian. You're the love of my life. All relationships have problems, as we know, and I think we can work on this together. And he's like, Anna, I love you. I love our unborn baby. And then they fucking kiss. And he's like, but Anna, there must be one thing to put this all to rest. My past must be put to rest so I can move on and have a wonderful and successful and healthy future with you and our unborn child. She's like, what's that? I must go visit my crack mom's grave. And so they then go to the cemetery where he visits the grave of his crack whore mother, and he puts some flowers down. He's like, well, that's that. We can leave. And then we cut. And it's a montage. It's a montage of them being rich and white and having fun. And then we then cut. It's throughout the entire film saga, we show all the scenes when they were, thrusting and groping and fucking and everything. And then it's like several years later, and they now live in the Scooby-Doo mansion, chat, where Anna is pregnant. But it's not with the new baby. It's, the baby, it's the second baby, chat, and they have this little toddler named Teddy who's like waddling around and shit. And like, I love Scooby-Doo. He loves Scooby-Doo, chat. And, if Christian's there and he's playing with his son and he's happy, and then Anna is, holding her son's hand while Christian holds the other kid's hand, and they walk towards their opulent, wonderful lifestyle, chat, for many more kinky adventures. And that, my friends, is my scene by scene breakdown for 50 Shades Freed. I hope you enjoyed it. Not a lot happened in this movie, but the last 15 minutes is fucking nuts. Fucking nuts, Jeff. couldn't believe it. Then Jimmy says, boo! Thank you for the 50 pennies. Oh, yeah. I would give this movie, it's a fuck you, like all the other ones, chat. It just showcases this really unhealthy, weird, messed up, manipulative, controlling relationship. And it kind of like, oh, it all worked out in the end. It's like, no, that's not how this works. It's just, I don't like that they put that up. I don't like that they did that. No, I forgive you written on a floppy disk. Yeah. That would have been great. She's like, that's what she should have done. That's like her thing. Just fucking have it on the USB drive and here's the floppy disk. I forgive you. Oh, so. Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad movie, chat. It's poor acting, ridiculous twists and shit. I mean, stuff. Even if they have the twist, like, okay, it's dumb, it's ridiculous. I can laugh at it, and like, oh, but how are you gonna fucking wrap all this up? It must be even more. And it doesn't. It just peters out. It's like a deflating balloon by the end, where everything is just in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I guess six, 7, whatever. Between 5 and 10 minutes, it's just explained in dialogue, and it's like, fuck you. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Alex Banal, you better extraordinary. Alex Banal got some good clips for this one, good sir. I think you'll like editing this one. But yeah, chat, it's a fuck you on the double toasted scale. A waste of time. It's simple. Yeah, Wattpad, exactly. Just like that, which has Shrek fan fiction, Sonic erotica. 1 in 10, need more peanut appletinis. Definitely, 100%. Yours, though, they only drink 2 appletinis. And, girl, you got to have at least 3 appletinis, okay? Make it a hat trick, girl. That's what I would do. Never just fucking 2. Come on. Go to 3, baby. Oh, my Lord. Basically gave ammo to the chicks only, like, rich jerks crowd. Which is just not even true. It shows the shallowness. And it's like, it raises that up, and she's like, it should be celebrated. It's like, no. Like, Christian Grey is a manipulative, controlling, sadist piece of shit. And Anna is a horrible, just a character for women. Just because she's so demure, and she lets herself be controlled so thoroughly, and lets herself be manipulated. And even when she thinks she's in control, she's just kind of like used as a joke or a fucking punching bag. That's most of the time she gets the shit kicked out of her. I don't think that relationship's gonna last, chap, but that's what happens when you write Twilight fan fiction. It becomes a $1 billion fucking franchise. That's what happens. Woo-wee! Hey, it does prove that, it's like, if you have fan fiction, chat, and you got some erotica, try to sell that. Change up the characters or something like that. Sell it to a movie studio. You never know. It might work. It might work out for you. Might make some money. If this was the first time you ever saw these actors something you think they couldn't act the way on paper. Yes, true. Very true. They're not good. But again, it's that thing with a lot, like I like to say, with actors, you can be the most talented actor in the world, but if you got a shit script and you got shit direction, probably gonna give a shit performance. Sadly. Poor movies have better plots than this crap. At least they get down to the fucking quick. Not all this, soap opera hoity-toity nonsense. Oh, my Lord. A lot of women don't even like these movies. The people who unlikely like them are the ones that are too young to know better. I think that's what it is. Totally, 100%. I think there's people out there that think Shadow the Hedgehog is boyfriend material. Oh, yeah. It was kind of denigrated in the Me Too movement was at its height. And when this first... Yeah, that's right. Thank you for the 2 biddies, Darkslayer. Anyone can do it. You can achieve anything, chat. As shitty as it might be, you can achieve anything. You think that baby's okay after that kick? Apparently, he was fucking waddling around and shit. And he's like Scooby-Doo. Lives in a Scooby-Doo mansion, so good for him. Yeah, chat. Oh, my God. But I hope you enjoyed that review. I am going to take a quick break. I'm going to go ahead and get myself a little wine. I'm a wine daddy after all. I need a drink. And have some water, too. And we're going to switch over to some Horizon Forbidden West as well. Nice little palate cleanser, if you will, after all that 50 Shades nonsense. I am not jerking. The most egregious part of the 50 Shades films, the sex scene. They're boring. That's the thing. They're all boring. They're boring in this movie. They're boring in the last one. And, I mean, sometimes they're funny. But it just feels like this movie is written by someone who never explored BDSM or, like, kinky stuff before. See y'all heading out, Emily. Emily, thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope you enjoyed the review.